Hallo liebe Strickerinnen, hallo liebe Strickmich Club-Mitglieder. Herzlich willkommen zum zweiten virtuellen Anstrick-Event vom Strickmich Club 2020. Ich bin Martina Behm, ich bin Strickdesignerin. Strickmich ist meine Marke und der Strickmich Club ist ein Abo für 4 neue Anleitungen von mir plus exklusiv gefärbtes, passendes Garn. Ja, und heute ist Peter hier bei uns. Hallo.
Hallo.
Ja, Peter hat auch ganz viel mit dem Strickmich Club zu tun, nicht nur weil er mein Mann ist, sondern auch weil er für ganz viele Dinge beim Strickmich Club zuständig ist. Erzähl doch mal, was du machst.
Ja, also ich mache im Prinzip alles, was nicht kreativ ist. Das heißt, ich sorge dafür, dass wir das Garn von den Färberinnen bekommen, dass wir das rechtzeitig verpacken und dann an euch alle rausschicken.
Ja, und genau das haben wir ja jetzt leider bei diesem Anstrick-Event nicht machen können. Wir haben uns dafür entschieden, die Lieferung zu verschieben. Und die Gründe dafür, die kennst du auch viel besser als ich.
Ja, also der Hauptgrund ist, dass wir tatsächlich in viele Länder gar nicht verschicken können. In vielen Ländern ist aufgrund der Corona-Pandemie eine Zustellung aktuell nicht möglich. Das ist zum Beispiel in den USA so, aber selbst in Österreich gibt es immer noch Bereiche, Regionen, in die wir nicht schicken könnten, weil da keine Postzustellung stattfindet. Das heißt, dass die Deutsche Post uns die Pakete gar nicht abnehmen würde. Und selbst wenn sie das macht, dann kann es sein, dass die Pakete unterwegs verloren gehen. Und das ist natürlich bei exklusivem, handgefärbtem Garn das Letzte, was wir wollen.
Ja, beim Strickmich-Shop haben wir ja auch diese Erfahrung gemacht.
Genau.
Ja.
Da kamen Pakete tatsächlich dann aus Frankfurt schon zurück mit dem Hinweis, kein Weitertransport in die Länder möglich.
Genau, und deshalb, also unser ursprünglicher Plan war, dass wir die Pakete zwar verschicken, aber das Anstrick-Event nur virtuell stattfinden lassen, denn aufgrund der Einschränkungen, die jetzt in der Corona-Pandemie gelten, ist so eine Veranstaltung mit 50 Strickerinnen und Kaffee und Kuchen leider auch nicht so möglich, wie wir das kennen. Also es bricht uns auch wirklich das Herz, weil wir haben immer so viel Spaß hier beim Anstrick-Event und wir freuen uns immer über alle, die hier sind. Ja, und vor so 2-3 Wochen, als es sich dann abzeichnete, dass wir nicht verschicken können, haben wir euch ja auch schon geschrieben, dass wir die Clublieferung verschieben. Das hat auch ein bisschen was damit zu tun, dass wir als Strickmich Club ja auch so ein Gemeinschaftserlebnis anbieten wollen. Und wenn dann nur ein Teil der Strickerinnen die Pakete hat und die anderen gar nicht wissen, wann und ob sie es bekommen, das fanden wir, das passt nicht richtig zusammen. Und darum freuen wir uns über euer Verständnis, dass ihr jetzt noch ein bisschen wartet. Aufgeschoben ist ja nicht aufgehoben. Wir werden alles daran setzen, dass ihr wirklich alle 3 noch fehlenden Pakete vollständig bekommt. Und bei der zweiten Lieferung ist es auch so, wir haben alles fertig hier. Wir haben das Garn, wir haben die Anleitung, wir haben die Postkarte. Und sobald es wieder möglich ist zu verschicken, schicken wir das auch los. Ja, aber weil wir ja wissen, dass Stricken jetzt gerade in diesen Zeiten so wichtig ist, weil es entspannt und weil wir das einfach brauchen in so stressigen Zeiten, haben wir uns was für euch überlegt. Also ich kann das super gut verstehen. Viele von euch haben geschrieben, dass die ganz traurig sind, dass sie jetzt eben nichts zu stricken haben. Und da können wir aber abhelfen, denn wir können ja virtuelle Güter, also digitale Güter, können wir auch weiterhin rund um den Globus verschicken und deshalb gibt es für euch eine extra exklusive Anleitung als PDF. Das Garn könnt ihr entweder aus eurem Stash nehmen, also aus eurem Wollvorrat, denn die Anleitung, die ich geschrieben habe, die funktioniert mit jedem handgefärbten, bunten Garn oder auch nicht handgefärbten Garn. Hauptsache es ist ein bisschen bunt. Farbverläufe funktionieren auch. Und für alle, die das Garn, was ich benutzt habe, gerne auch verwenden wollen, haben wir uns überlegt, dass es dann schlau wäre, ein Garn zu verwenden, was es auf beiden Seiten des großen Teiches gibt. Und darum habe ich von Miss Babs dieses wunderschöne Garn hier benutzt. Das ist Yummy 2-Ply. Das ist ein reines Merino-Garn. Manche von euch kennen das vielleicht schon, weil wir das 2017 auch schon mal im Club hatten. Und wer das gerne haben möchte, der bekommt das sowohl bei Miss Babs in Amerika, die kann das von da aus verschicken, als auch hier bei uns. Also das haben wir in ganz vielen tollen Farben da. Aber wie gesagt, die Anleitung geht auch mit dickerem oder dünnerem Garn. Also es muss niemand was kaufen, sondern das kann man wunderbar benutzen, Die Anleitung kann man wunderbar benutzen, um was aus dem Stash zu verstricken. So, und ich zeige sie euch jetzt mal. Die heißt Hope and Confidence, nach dem Zitat von Elizabeth Zimmerman. Die hat ja mal gesagt, knit on with confidence and hope through all crises. Auf Deutsch, also lasst uns stricken mit Hoffnung und Zuversicht durch alle Krisen hindurch. Und das ist genau der Spirit, den wir gerade brauchen, finde ich. Das ist eine Hitchhiker-Form, die kennt ihr schon. Ganz entspannt in Kraus rechts geht es los. Und ab einem gewissen Punkt kommt dann dieses Knopflochmuster hinzu, was auch echt Spaß zu stricken macht. Und da benutze ich Elizabeth Zimmermans Knopflochtechnik, die ich euch auch in einem kleinen Video, was in der Anleitung verlinkt ist, zeige. Ja, und da kann man so lange stricken, bis das Garn weg ist. Also es ist auch wirklich ein super Krisentuch, weil die Ressourcen alle wunderbar genutzt werden. Ja, und diese Anleitung, wie die zu euch kommt, das kann euch auch Peter erklären.
Ja, also ihr kriegt eine PDF-Anleitung als Download. Wir hatten kurz überlegt, ob wir euch die einfach per E-Mail schicken, aber die Erfahrung zeigt, dass ganz oft ein E-Mail-Anhang dann von Spam-Filtern ausgefiltert wird oder einfach nicht durchkommt. Deshalb haben wir uns gedacht, wir geben die euch zum Download in eurem Strickmich Club Kundenkonto. Und da könnt ihr euch einloggen unter www.strickmich-club.de. Euer Konto einloggen, den Link habe ich euch auch in der E-Mail schon geschickt. Ihr findet dann ein Produkt, das ist eben genau diese Anleitung. Das kostet leider 1 Cent, das ist nur, weil unser Shop Produkte mit Nullpreis nicht akzeptiert. Aber keine Angst, ihr müsst auch keinen Cent zahlen. Legt das einfach in den Warenkorb. Wählt Überweisung als Zahlungsart und sobald ihr die Bestellung abgeschlossen habt, könnt ihr in eurem Kundenkonto unter meine Download-Anleitung das sofort runterladen und müsst auch nichts bezahlen.
Okay, also man muss wirklich nichts überweisen. Dieser 1 Cent, das ist nur eine Formalität. Und ja, vielleicht noch ganz wichtig, ihr seid dann nicht im Strickmich-Shop, also nicht auf der Webseite www.strickmich-shop.de, sondern auf www.strickmich-club.de. Aber wenn ihr einfach dem Link folgt, der in der E-Mail drin steht, dann kommt ihr da genau hin.
Genau. Und noch ein kleiner Hinweis, ihr müsst euch tatsächlich zuerst einloggen in euer Kundenkonto. Das haben wir gemacht, wie ihr das schon bei der Wolle kennt, dass nur wirklich Clubmitglieder an das Produkt rankommen und nur ihr das exklusiv runterladen könnt und niemand von außen sieht oder da dran kommt.
Genau, und diese Anleitung ist wie alle anderen Strickmich-Club-Anleitungen auch exklusiv für euch für die kommenden 6 Monate. Das ist also nichts, was irgendwo anders auftaucht. Das ist eine richtige Club-Anleitung, nur dass eben das Garn eben aus eurem Wollvorrat kommen muss, beziehungsweise dann eben müsst ihr euch entscheiden, welches ihr dann haben wollt. Aber falls ihr euch entscheidet, bei uns im Shop oder bei Miss Babs zu bestellen, haben wir noch ein kleines Goodie für euch. Vielleicht erzählst du da noch was drüber.
Ja, genau. Also wir haben uns mit Miss Babs auch geeinigt, dass wir für Clubmitglieder im nächsten Monat für eine Bestellung 10% Rabatt geben. Also das gilt sowohl bei uns als auch bei Miss Babs im Shop. Die Coupon-Codes und die Details findet ihr auch in der E-Mail, die ihr ja gekriegt habt.
Genau, ja. Und dann kann ich jetzt sagen, habt ein schönes virtuelles Anstricken jetzt gleich mit der Färberin Miss Babs. Die habe ich per Zoom-Interview vor ein paar Tagen gesprochen und habe sie ausgefragt, wie es ihr so geht. Und was das Besondere an ihrem Garn ist, eben ganz genau, wie ich das machen würde, wenn sie hier bei uns auf der Bühne wäre. Und damit wünsche ich euch ganz viel Spaß. Ich bin sehr optimistisch, dass wir uns bald wiedersehen werden und dass ganz bald wir all die tollen Sachen wieder machen können, die wir vor der Krise gemacht haben. Und bis dahin machen wir einfach das, was wir am besten können, nämlich stricken. Ganz viel Spaß dabei wünschen wir.
Ja.
So, hello, Miss Babs from the United States. I'm so glad that you are joining me today. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, and it's so good to see you, Martina.
Yeah, it's such a pleasure to have you and to be working with you and your yarn again. You know, we are talking under very special circumstances. we couldn't ship our shipment to our Strickmich Club members. So I thought it would be a great idea to have a new design with a yarn that's available on both sides of the pond, like in our shop and in your shop. And that's also suitable for any hand-dyed yarn you might have in your stash. So yeah, I'm really glad that this worked out. And you are not new to Strickmich Club. Our members already know you. Maybe you could just tell us what your connection with Strickmich and with Strickmich Club is.
Oh my gosh. I was talking to my, to Helen before we got started, and I was thinking, my gosh, I think we've been working with you since 2009 or something like that, or 2010, whenever Hitchhiker first came out. And we contacted you to ask you if we could sell the pattern in the US at shows that we went to. And that was the beginning. And we have utilized your patterns, and we've talked to you over the years, and we've collaborated on things together and joined with you on your the strict planner, and it's all been beneficial. It's been a great collaboration.
Yeah, and I was especially proud and so flattered when you actually came here, when you were a dyer for Strickmich Club. This is, I mean, it's absolutely sensational that you came here and I could interview you here live on stage, because I think it was in 2018, you were the dyer of one of the shipments for Strickmich Club. And it was the first time ever that we actually delayed the cast-on event for a week, because we had planned to have it on the Thanksgiving weekend, which for an American is something that you can't really miss. So we delayed it for 1 week, and you came here and you were here on stage, and we had such a good time, and it was just amazing to have you here. So thank you for that as well.
Yeah, that was a great trip. I had never been to Germany before, and I came with Veronica, who has worked with me for about 10 years, and we did a little trip before that. We went over to Amsterdam, and then we came back over and spent about 3 days in your neck of the woods, as we would say here, and had a great time. And even though it was November, it was still a great time, and the weather wasn't horrible. So that was, well, you know, it's
November is not very pretty around here. Yeah, so you were lucky if you still liked it. That I'm glad. Right. Yeah, and yeah, I've been working with your yarn for many years as well. I remember when I had just come out with the Hitchhiker, then you asked me to design something for your club, and you designed you dyed the Berlin colorway. And I designed the brickless. Yeah, you have it there. Yeah, very clever. Yeah.
Now, it in 2-ply. I don't have any in Yowza right now, but you designed it in the Yowza.
Yes. Yeah.
And I have one that is, I have a brickless that is knit in another colorway, but it's, gosh, this has been a popular pattern.
Yes, it has. I think after the Hitchhiker, it's my second most popular pattern, and it's a collaboration with you. So yeah, so I'm also I'm also always happy to work with you. So let's talk about the current situation. I mean, I already said it's a special situation for everyone. How has it been for you? I mean, you have been going to yarn shows, and many of them have been canceled. And I don't know, how has it been in your dyeing studio? Please tell us how it's been.
You know, like for everyone, at the beginning of all of this, it was sort of scary, weird. We didn't know what to expect. And in fact, we had gone to a show out in California in February when things were starting to, the disease was starting to come over here. And actually, there had been cases in the county where the show was. We got back home towards the end of February, and then things really started changing. And, like everybody else, just trying to sort out what you're supposed to do and and like everyone, we were, how are we going to make it through financially? And I knew for myself that I wanted to make sure that we got through at least the spring. And so I have been able to keep all of my employees. We have significantly, for all of April, we significantly downsized to 6 or less people. I have close to 8,000 square feet. So it's easy to social distance in that much space. A couple of weeks ago, brought it back up to about 10 people. In real time, we normally have about 15. So I'm keeping it right now between 10 and 11 people. We clean, we do things, we are shipping regularly. We've changed a few things that we do in terms of, some services we're not providing right at this precise moment because we just don't have enough manpower in the studio to do it. I think I'm no different than lots of other people that are just trying to figure out what to do in the next week. And so that's sort of where we are right now.
How is the general feeling in the US? It's like for us in Europe, we have seen how it was in Italy, and we have seen the pictures from other countries. And here in Germany, we have been really lucky that our hospitals they're actually empty. They had to close down many things in the hospitals. So actually they had to partially lay off people and send them home because they didn't have as much work to do as they used to. I'm pretty worried about what I see when I watch the news about New York and the United States.
Yeah, I think, the difficulty here is that the US is so big that the area where I live, there've been maybe 5 cases with no deaths. And over in the next state, the area closest to us have had very few cases and no deaths. So it's sort of regional as to what the situation is. And so part of people in this area seem to be less concerned but are also unwilling to travel to some of the areas where there is a lot of cases. I think there's just sort of a mixed bag of what's going on here in the US. And I read the news too, and but I'm also staying home. When I'm not at work, I'm at home for the most part.
Your private life has also changed. Have you been going out a lot before and going to restaurants and meeting friends? And how is that?
Not much. It's a half hour, 45 minutes to any place. We have some restaurants here, but I just, I'm not a highly social person, in that way. Yeah, I don't know. It's,
Yeah, it's probably the same as for us. We're also living in the countryside, and like the distancing thing is really easy for us because like the next supermarket is 10 kilometers away, and we tend to stay in our house and just walk the dog and do everything here at our house anyway, because like our little office is also here and we do the shipping here. So yeah, I can totally relate. I know what you mean.
Yeah, and I've always done all of my own cooking. So, you know, I'm not one of those people who eats out a lot. So
yeah, we don't have to worry about you. You won't starve where you are. That's great. So what about the live verknitters in the US and the live for hand dyers? How has it changed during the past weeks?
okay, so part of what we're seeing is that people seem to have been buying larger projects because they have more time available. Some of them have been more complex. Some of them have not been significantly more complex, but have just been maybe a little larger than they would normally take on. We had a virtual show with Maryland Sheep and Wool, and that actually was pretty good for a lot of people. And apparently the Maryland Sheep and Wool website actually crashed that day. So there was a lot of activity. We had a lot of activity, and you know, it was a good show for us. This weekend, we're actually also involved with Vogue BKL Live virtual, and we're doing a Zoom meeting with them later today. That we did an episode the other day, and it was good. This is new for me, learning how to talk comfortably in front of people without an audience, without seeing any feedback, except obviously with you, Martina. And so it's just a new thing. But I think many of us are moving into that and have moved into that. Many of your viewers, our customers, are doing this with their work all the time. I use Zoom in my work. I have an employee that lives on the other side of the United States, and so you know, we meet with her via Zoom. So it's just sort of natural. I think at the beginning, dyers did a lot of discounting in an attempt to try to make sure that people were buying. But I think that has sort of backed off some as people have been willing to shop. And, you know, this is a time when people can go back to knitting that haven't been knitting for a while because they simply have the time.
Yeah, that's what I think is happening in Germany too. Like there are so many things that you can't do at the moment, but knitting is so flexible and you can do it anywhere and you don't need much to start something. And it can be very soothing, and it can give you a sense of accomplishment, and you can learn something, and you can also connect through online connections. So I think, yeah, also here in Germany, we are learning a lot about video conferencing. It hasn't been very popular here because you can basically go anywhere within one day. So people have been traveling all the time and taking a plane and taking the train and driving. And now through this Zoom conferencing and video conferencing, we have really learned to do that. I think you have been doing more of that in the US because the distances are much bigger than here. So yeah, we are learning. And yeah, for us, it's been like, as we are an online business, in the beginning, everything was just as it had been before. But since shipping to the US has ceased, suddenly DHL and the German Post said they couldn't send anything to the US anymore. I think it has on one hand to do with the diminished capacity of flights, because there are not as many flights, international flights, and they can't take as much on as they did before. Yeah, and on the other hand, it might be some security issues. So I don't really know, but we have the information that we can't send anything anywhere except within Germany, and there are even restrictions within Europe. So that is like the main thing that has really changed for us. And we can't hold our live events here, which makes us sad, but we hope that we will be able to connect with all the Strickmich Club members through this video. And we're also going to do other things that we will all connect and still knit together.
Right. Yeah, it is difficult. I mean, the lack of physical touch and being able, you know, but that's the benefit of Zoom, is that you can actually look in somebody's eyes and, you know, and see the nod and all of that. And that's really important to that human feedback.
Yeah. So what have you been knitting lately?
Oh, Lordy. Socks. Frankly, because they're super simple. This is just a sock, you know, and I can pick it up and I know exactly where I am when I'm picking it up, and I don't have to think about it because I've knit so many pairs of socks over the years.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really comforting. I mean, when you feel like everything in the world is doing something that you can't control, you can still take out your knitting, you know exactly what to do, and you know what it's going to look like. So yeah, I enjoy that very much too. So
and I'm looking forward to knitting that new pattern of yours.
Yeah, so yeah, let me show you.
So nice.
It's a hitchhiker shape. It's like this bias shawl, and I used this beautiful color because I just like it so much. It's called Zombie Prom. I had some other colors that were even more bold and more fun, but I was somehow drawn to this one. And I added this buttonhole pattern. And the buttonholes, they are made with Elizabeth Zimmerman's buttonhole technique. And the pattern is called Hope and Confidence, because I think that's what we need now. And one of my favorite quotes from Elizabeth Zimmerman is knit on with confidence and hope through all crises. And many people have interpreted this quote only in terms of knitting crises, because in knitting you also have difficulties and you run out of yarn and you make mistakes and you have to knit through these crises. But I think that Elizabeth might also have had some other crisis in mind, because like she was an immigrant to the US and she has also had some hard times, and she has had kids, and you always have some hard times with kids. So I think that this quote fits very well now. So we should all knit on with confidence and hope also through this crisis. And I used the yarn-based Yummy 2-ply, which we also carry in Strickmich shop, which is really one of my favorites because it has this pearly surface and this and it's just so soft and so nice, and all these gorgeous colors. So but maybe you could say something about this yarn base and what's so special about it and why everyone should knit with it.
Right. So you actually hit exactly the point of why, one of the reasons why I really love this yarn. And so it's a 2-ply and it is a relatively tight twist. And the way it over connects is that there's a bump and then a valley in between. And the color is different at the top of the bump and then valley. And so if you really look at it, it's really an interesting yarn. It's actually this base. It's been the basis of my business since probably 2006. I love it. And it takes color beautifully. It is a superwash, so it does really vibrant colors. You can't always get quite as vibrant a color with the non-superwash. And it's easy to use, easy to knit with, and it's good for lots of different projects.
Yeah, I have only been knitting shawls with it. I have made the Miss Winkle pattern that is also a hitchhiker shape with the little loops on one of the edges. And I have done the Strickmich Club pattern with your yarn with the Ziggy Stardust colorway. Oh yeah, you have it there. That's great. Yeah, that's such a spectacular colorway. Yeah, and that had a little lightning zigzag on it.
Right.
And yeah, I just love to wear the shawls that I make. I always wear my samples. I know that as a designer you are not supposed to do that, but with the Yummy 2-ply, I always do it. So yeah. So after after some time, then people have to deal with my worn samples. But I have to say the Miss Winkle that I made out of the Yummy 2-ply, it looks just as new, although I have been wearing it quite a lot, and I have made it, I don't know, in 2012 or 2013, and it still looks like on the first day. And I have just washed it and blocked it today because we are going to use it for a new photo shoot for a new big project, which I'm not really going to talk about right now, but the Miss Winkle is going to be in it. So yeah. So yeah, tell us a little bit about your dyeing style, because I think it's very easy to recognize your yarns. When I see a skein of hand-dyed yarn, I am very likely to know which one is by Miss Babs and which one isn't, and maybe how you have developed this style of dyeing.
I have a few styles. One is the tonal monochromatic colors, and I tend to, this is muslin. I mean, it's not, it's a plain color, but it has highs and lows, and it's dyed on a table, and I have people who do that. But my hand painted yarns like this and like this, which is also this, I have a number of ways that I do it, but I think part of what you're recognizing is my color combining.
Yes. Yeah.
And I can't necessarily explain it, except that I somehow, it's sort of in my brain to do combinations. I try to avoid straight on primary colors. I like things that are a little off kilter from that. And I also try to include a color in a colorway that will provide a rest point for the eye. So with Berlin, there's a black background in the pot with the yarn already. So that creates a continuity, and it creates a visual rest spot. And I think that's probably part of it. I like things that match. And so I try to find things that visually work together in that way. This is a speckled yarn, and it doesn't have a lot of different colors in it. And what I like about it is that it will work as a tonal, sort of an even single color, or it can be used as a variegated. And so I like that. I think it's probably mostly how I combine colors.
Yeah, that's probably it. I mean, the colors, they are often very, very, very fun and very variegated, but they are still somehow in harmony, and you can guess what the idea has been behind it. So yeah, I hope that we are all going to knit ourselves some hope and confidence for the next couple of months. I hope that we will all get through this well, and that there will be lots of knitting and lots of knitting shows and knitting events in the future, and that we will be able to see each other in person and enjoy our knitting. And until then, we will just do our thing at home. I have read somewhere that this quarantine situation is what knitters have been training for all their lives. Because we know how to entertain ourselves with very little. And so thank you so much for talking to me and for entertaining our Strickmich Club members.
And thank you for inviting me and using my yarn to design your pattern.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure. So all the best to you and to your staff, and see you soon.
Okay. Take care, Martina.